Welcome aboard, dear voyagers, to another journey with Story Planet. As you step onto the deck of imagination, let the gentle waves of words carry you to distant shores. Tonight, we embark on a voyage unlike any other, where every whisper of the wind and every ripple of the sea has a story to tell. So, find a cozy spot, relax, and let your mind set sail with us on this tranquil adventure. Your journey into the heart of Serenity Island begins now. Bon voyage. The Island of Serenity. The SS Radiant Star was a small, intimate cruise ship. It was known for its personalized experiences. With only a dozen cabins, the ship had just a few travelers on board. Each had their own story. They were seeking peace on the ocean. The journey was meant to be calm. Clara was a school teacher from New York. She was traveling with her best friend, Nora. Nora was a nurse from Boston. They were celebrating their long friendship. They wanted to escape the hustle of their busy lives. Mark was a photographer. He traveled with his partner, Sam. Sam was a quiet, introspective writer. They were looking for inspiration. Henry and Margaret were an older couple. They were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Emily was a young woman traveling alone. She had recently gone through a breakup. She was seeking solace on the sea. On the third evening of their voyage, the group gathered for dinner. The ship's dining room was cozy. The conversation was light, filled with laughter. The passengers were growing closer. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, the weather took a sudden turn. Dark clouds rolled in. The once calm sea became turbulent. The ship was tossed by the waves. The passengers clung to each other, frightened. The storm was fierce and unexpected. The captain and crew worked tirelessly. They tried to keep the Radiant Star steady, but the storm was relentless. After hours of battling the elements, the ship was blown off course. When the storm finally subsided, they found themselves adrift. They were in an unfamiliar part of the ocean. The crew soon spotted something on the horizon. It was a small island. It looked untouched and welcoming. The captain decided to anchor near the island. A small team was sent ashore to explore. What they found was nothing short of paradise. The island was lush and green. There were clear freshwater streams. Fruit trees were abundant. The beaches were soft and sandy. It was as if the island had been waiting for them. Day 1. The Arrival. The passengers disembarked onto the island. They were greeted by the sounds of rustling palm leaves. The waves lapped gently against the shore. The air was fragrant with the scent of blooming flowers. The stress of the storm began to melt away. Henry and Margaret, though weary, marveled at the beauty. They walked hand in hand along the beach. Clara and Nora, always adventurous, started exploring. Mark, ever the photographer, began snapping pictures. Sam quietly took notes for a possible story. Emily, still nursing her wounds, found solace in the island's tranquility. She felt, for the first time in weeks, that she could breathe freely. The group quickly formed a plan. Henry, with his engineering background, took charge. He helped the crew with repairs to the ship. Margaret, with her nurturing spirit, set up a small clinic. She tended to any scrapes or bruises. Clara and Nora began gathering food. Emily joined them, eager to contribute. Mark and Sam explored deeper into the island. They documented everything they found. The island felt like a refuge. Day 2. Building a home. The next day, the passengers set about making the island more comfortable. With Henry's guidance, they built shelters. Palm leaves and driftwood became their walls and roofs. They created a small village on the beach. The island's resources were plentiful. Fresh coconuts and bananas were abundant. Fish were easy to catch. Nora, with her culinary skills, turned these into meals. They were simple but delicious. They brought everyone together. Each evening, the group gathered around a large fire. They shared stories and laughter. They enjoyed the simple pleasure of each other's company. The sense of community grew stronger. They realized they were not just surviving, they were thriving. Henry and Margaret became the group's anchors. Their wisdom and experience provided comfort. They helped ease everyone's uncertainties. Mark and Sam found inspiration. Mark's photographs captured the island's beauty. Sam's journal entries became more vibrant and full of life. The island was more than just a place of refuge. It was a source of creativity and renewal. Day 3. Discovering the island's secrets. By the third day, the passengers had explored much of the island. But there were still mysteries to uncover. One afternoon, Clara, Nora, Mark, and Sam ventured deeper into the forest. The air was thick with the scent of tropical flowers. The ground was carpeted with ferns. As they pushed through the undergrowth, they stumbled upon something hidden. It was an ancient stone structure. It was partially covered by vines. It looked like a shrine. The carvings hinted at a long-forgotten history. The discovery filled them with awe. They spent hours examining the carvings. They tried to decipher their meaning. That evening, they shared their discovery with the others. The ancient shrine became a symbol. It reminded them that the island had a rich past. It was more than just a refuge. It was a place of wonder. Day 4. The Power of Connection. As the days passed, the passengers grew closer. They formed bonds that transcended the short time they had known each other. They shared their hopes and dreams. They spoke of their fears and regrets. Emily, who had initially kept to herself, opened up. She talked about her recent breakup. She found comfort in Nora's empathy. Margaret offered motherly advice. The island had a way of bringing out the best in everyone. It fostered connections that might never have formed otherwise. One evening, the sun dipped below the horizon. It cast a warm glow over the ocean. The passengers gathered for a special dinner. They had prepared a feast from the island's offerings. As they sat together on the beach, the conversation turned to the storm. Margaret, with her years of wisdom, spoke. She said the storm had been a blessing in disguise. It had brought them to this island. They had found not only shelter but also a sense of belonging. The storm had reminded them of the power of nature. It showed them the importance of human connection. Henry, always the pragmatist, agreed. Their time on the island had taught them something valuable. It made them appreciate the simple pleasures in life. Day 5. Embracing the Island Life. By the 5th day, the passengers had fully embraced island life. The routines they had established brought comfort. It gave them a sense of normalcy. Each morning, they gathered at the lagoon. They took a refreshing swim. Breakfast on the beach followed. The rest of the day was spent exploring, fishing, and enjoying the island's beauty. Mark and Sam, who had grown close to Clara and Nora, talked about the island's future. They didn't want to leave it behind. They spoke of returning one day. They wanted to preserve the island's untouched beauty. Their time on the island had given them a new perspective. They valued simplicity. They cherished nature, and they appreciated the bonds they had formed. That evening they held a small celebration. It was under the stars. The crew had made significant progress on the ship's repairs. It was clear that their time on the island was coming to an end. But instead of feeling sad, the passengers were filled with gratitude. The island had given them something they hadn't realized they needed. It had given them a break from the pressures of the world. It allowed them to reconnect with themselves and with each other. Day 6. Preparing to leave. On the 6th day, the passengers began to prepare for their departure. They packed up their makeshift homes. They cleaned up the beach. They left the island as they had found it, pristine and untouched. But there was a sense of reluctance in the air. They were leaving behind more than just an island. Clara, who had been the first to suggest exploring the island, felt a deep connection. She took a final walk to the ancient shrine. She left a small offering of flowers. It was her way of saying thank you. Mark, ever the photographer, captured the island's beauty one last time. He knew the photos would never fully capture the peace he had felt there. As the sun set on their final day, the passengers gathered for one last dinner on the beach. They spoke of the friendships they had formed. They talked about the lessons they had learned, the memories they would carry with them. The island had been a gift. It had come into their lives at the perfect time. Day 7. The Departure. On the 7th day, the crew announced the ship was ready to sail. The passengers boarded the Radiant Star. They had mixed emotions. They were relieved to be returning to civilization, but they were saddened to leave the island behind. As the ship pulled away from the shore, they stood on the deck. They watched the island grow smaller and smaller. Soon it was just a speck on the horizon. But the island would never truly leave them. It had become a part of them, a place they could return to in their minds whenever they needed peace and tranquility. The storm that had once seemed so terrifying had brought them to a paradise they would never forget. As the radiant star sailed toward its original destination, the passengers knew they had been changed. Their time on the island had transformed them. They had learned to appreciate the simple pleasures in life. They had found joy in the company of others. They had seen the beauty in the unexpected. The island had given them a gift that would last a lifetime. It was a reminder that even in the midst of a storm, there is always a calm, a peaceful place waiting to be discovered. The Legacy of Serenity Island. Months after their return, the passengers of the Radiant Star stayed in touch. Their bond was stronger than ever. They referred to the island as Serenity Island. It was a place that had brought them peace. It had brought them together in the storm's aftermath. Mark's photographs from the island became part of a gallery exhibit. The proceeds went to environmental conservation. Clara and Nora wrote a joint book about their experience. They shared the lessons of Serenity Island with the world. Every year, on the anniversary of their departure, they gathered. They met in person or through video calls. They reminisced about their time on the island. They talked about the storm, the shrine, the lagoon, and the friendships they had forged. Serenity Island had become more than just a memory. It was a part of their lives, a symbol of resilience, connection, and the beauty of life's unexpected journeys. Dear voyagers, as our journey comes to a gentle close, it's time to step off the ship of dreams and return to the shores of reality. We hope this voyage to Serenity Island brought you peace and a sense of connection, like the calm after a storm. If you enjoyed the island and the journey we shared, you may consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to stay connected with us on future adventures. Until our next voyage, thank you for sailing with Story Planet.